Joel, always great to have you on the broadcast. Listen, on your blog, joelrosenberg.com, you referenced that study that shows more Muslims came to Christ between 1960 and 2010 than in any time in history. Tell us why.
Well, it's fascinating, right? We've gone from about fewer than 200,000 Muslim converts to Christianity in 1960 to better than 10 million by 2010. And of course, that was 6 years ago. We believe the trend lines are continuing. Look, a lot has happened in the last 50 years in the Middle East. A lot of revolutions, wars, turmoil, poverty. And I think what's happening, especially in the last 10 or 15 years, is many Muslims are getting deeply uncomfortable with the idea that ISIS or Iran's leadership or Assad are the type of people that represent Islam. And many Muslims are saying, look, if that's Islam, if that's real Islam, I'm out.
Would you also say that, there's also more ministry to the Muslim world than ever before?
I think there has been an acceleration of missions work in the Muslim world right at the moment, again, combined with technology, which has allowed fewer people to be able to reach more people with the gospel. I don't think enough people are engaged in Muslim evangelism. I think that's actually still a weakness. But I also believe that God is moving very powerfully using dreams and visions Muslims are having of the man in white, of Jesus Christ himself, but revealing to Muslims, hundreds of millions of Muslims, not just tens of millions, the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that we would work with and strengthen ministries that are broadcasting the gospel by satellite television, by radio, by the internet. And then, of course, local believers on the ground who are so persecuted. I think in many ways, the violence that we're seeing on the ground in the Middle East is the physical manifestation of the spiritual battle for souls in the Muslim world.
Talking about violence, what Christians on the ground in parts of the Middle East are facing. In fact, the United States has now labeled this a genocide.
Yes, it is a genocide. What we're watching in Syria, in northern Iraq, is nothing less than genocide. The Islamic State, for example, what we know as ISIS or ISIL, this is a movement specifically, publicly determined to destroy every Christian, every Yazidi, every Muslim that doesn't agree with them. They're being forced to convert to Islam or pay a tax or be murdered or be enslaved. This is what's happening right now. And millions are fleeing the region. But of course, hundreds and hundreds of thousands are dying. More than 400,000 people have died in Syria alone. So this is genocidal proportions. More than 1 million people, Christians, have fled Syria. More than 1 million Christians have fled Iraq. And this is ISIS's goal, is to eradicate Christianity in the lands where the gospel was first preached.
What can the global church do to help brothers and sisters who continue to suffer for their faith in the Middle East?
Sure. Well, preach the gospel and to strengthen our brothers and sisters at this critical hour.
As always, Joel Rosenberg, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, George. Great to be with you.